Islam, Islam, Islam. And I'm experimenting, so watch this. Okay, so we're going to get ready to begin our program. I'm about a minute late, but it's all good. And of course, we will begin by saying the Moorish American prayer. Islam, Islam, Islam. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, Drew Ali. Amen. And once again, I must welcome you to the Moorish Light. And program here. I started out at 4 o'clock trying to make sure I got everything together. But here I am. Giving. And of course, before I even start my introduction, let me say kudos, praises to Allah, honor to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. This would be his 140th Earth Day. And Moors will be celebrating on January the 8th. We did celebrate on January the 4th. And I'd like to give kudos and honors to all those who participated in putting together our program on January 4th. It was a lovely program. We had a great time. They had to snatch the mic out my hand. I'm just joking. But, they had to calm my sister down because, I love to teach more science. So, anyway. And as we move forward, let me start with our introduction. Giving praises to the causeless cause and the rootless root from which all things have grown. The great God Allah. You might call him Jehovah. You might call him Parabram. You might have some other names for him. But remember, he's infinite, and we can't circumscribe him by a name or a religion. You need to understand that. Honors to the last prophet in this dispensation, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the founder. Honors to John Gibbonseal, Prophet Noble Drew Ali reincarnated. And of course, I give a special honor to my teacher, Grand Sheikh Richardson Dingley, Prophet Noble Drew Ali III. And it's all about continuity. It's not about the person, it's about the lesson. It's about the message. It's about moving forward and not getting stagnated. And also, as well as Grand Sheikh Richardson Dingle-Eel, I also give honor to Grand Sheikh Timothy Dingle-Eel, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, which means that we are now in the era of Moses and Aaron, meaning that we now need to get to the promised land. Can I get you to understand when we say Moses and Aaron, there's some things we need to do, like put away the golden calf. Stay focused, Sister stay focused. It was they who confronted Pharaoh, established a means for our people to register and receive actual freedom according to the 188,000 forefathers, some who fought and some who gave their lives, that this nation, the Moorish American nation, would have a true birth of freedom. I give honor to my home temple, 1055 North Milton Avenue, as well as to our sister temple, 2900 West Pressman Street. Honor to Grand Sheikess, National Grand Sheikess Tiffany Jones Bay. Honors to and the National Council. Honors to Supreme Grand Sheik and Sheikess Prather, and to all those who are listening and those who would listen in the future. What is the light? The light is the divine illumination that reveals the soul to the spirit. It overcomes darkness and leads the way to salvation and resurrection. That is the light. So Islam, and welcome to the Moorish Light, continues the Soul School, where the revolution is a podcast. And we are shining light, clearing up the confusion, and teaching the basic facts. Our objective is unity and manifesting the ultimate goal of the Moorish movement and love and understanding. We will not, and are not going to dispute charters, who is the Supreme Grand Sheikh. We are here to establish a basic foundation for the Moorish national and divine movement. So in saying that it's time as 2026, let us get on one page. Let's let the prophet lead and let us get on one page. Because if we all follow the prophet, we will all be on the same page. We don't need more chiefs. We need more Indians, as the saying goes. You know, everybody trying to be supreme and divine. Let Allah be supreme and divine. And let us just follow directions, the revelations. So let me not tarry long with my message, because what I'm coming to understand is that a lot of us really aren't clear why the Moorish Science Temple was founded. We generalize by saying to uplift fallen humanity. But what we seem to have a problem with answering is how, and what does the final destination look like. So we're going to talk about that a little bit, but we're going to kind of focus on the prophet and why he's here today, because it's this 140th Earth Day coming up, and we need to ask ourselves, how far have we moved in manifesting what the prophet has brought us? So to start out, we're going to, and you know I'm going to share, we're going to start out, of course, reading from the Holy Quran of Mecca. Today, our surah is Surah 34, Ayat 28. Let's see. I can find it here. Okay. So let's look at Surah 28. It says, "We have not sent thee but as a universal messenger to men, giving them glad tidings and warning them," in parentheses, "against sin. But most men understand not." So when we talk about the universal messenger and the universal message, let me read the footnote before I start explaining. Allah's revelation through the prophet was not meant for one faith, or one tribe, or one race, or a set of people. It was meant for all mankind, to whom, if they turn to Allah, it is a message of glad tidings, of his mercy. And if they do not turn to him, it is a warning against sin and the inevitable punishment. That the punishment does not come immediately, in parentheses, as far as they perceive, is no reason for doubting it. It has been declared in clear and unequivocal terms, and nothing can be more certain. Why delay? Why ask carping questions? Why not profit by the message? Turn to Allah in repentance and bring forth the fruits of righteousness. Repentance. Moorish Americans are Muslims. A Muslim is one who submits his will to the great God Allah. Submitting your will. There are levels of submitting your will. You can submit your will through your actions. You can submit your will by putting some boundaries on yourself. You can submit your will by learning these lessons. You can submit your will by not trying to say it's only spiritual, or it's only divine, or it's only national. It's all of the above. So submitting your will encompasses more than just saying I am a Muslim or I am a Moorish American. It means much more than that. So 29 say, they say, will this promise come to pass if you are telling the truth? A lot of people, when I talk about, or when I'm teaching in the lesson say about our promised land and actual freedom, most of y'all can't even fathom that thought. It scares you. It scares you, so you can't entertain the thought of having your own land, because you have been so controlled and conditioned to think that you can't do it on your own. Now, the revelation, what's the revelation? Maybe we need to talk about that. It says revelation, the spiritual revelation means the unveiling or disclosure of divine truth. Now, does divine truth only happen in holy books? It does not. Divine truth happens in history. Divine truth happens in law. Divine truth happens in common sense. But it is an understanding through the great God Allah. So we can't just sit here and say, or we must recognize the prophet says that we have a divine and national movement, which means we have a divine and national understanding. So it goes on to say, revelation, divine truth, purpose, or knowledge from God or law to humanity, often through personal spiritual experiences, inner feelings, visions, or scripture, making known that was previously hidden to help guide individuals and groups. So Prophet Noble Drew Ali when he came on the scene, his first cry was, come all ye Asiatics, and hear the truth about your nationality and birthright. And then the next part of that revelation, let me see if I can find it here, would be the divine constitution and bylaws. And I'm doing this in pieces because it's kind of difficult to, I'm trying to keep it as basic as possible is what I'm really trying to do. And then we're also going to look at this from a biblical perspective. But I know that I had this up. Let me stop sharing for a minute and look at my little catalog here. So I'm back. So I want to share, but I have to make sure that I have, and I'm sure that I did. Because one of the things I think that we downplay is our divine constitution and bylaws. And the key of our divine constitution and bylaws and understanding what our mission is that so I want us to understand this revelation here. And let me, I'm here. And I'm going to go here and I'm going to share. Where did it go? Okay, so we want to look at Acts 6. I'm going to talk about this just for a minute, and then I'm going to get into some other portions of my lesson. Now, Acts 6 says some things. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality. So that means everybody's does not necessarily have the same nationality. And here's the distinction. And we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed. That, and I always use must, that they must know that they are part and parcel of this said government. This is what you should know. Part and parcel of this said government, and know that you are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians. Because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders. In 1779 and last with an ED till 1865 during the time of slavery. Slavery from 1779 till 1865. But this is a new era of time now. So the era of slavery should be non-existent at this particular point, but it was not. So this is 2025, and we're still dealing with these slave labels that we should not be dealing with. So I'm going to keep moving here, and I'm going to go to the Bible now. So I'm going to stop sharing this. And I show you this because I don't want anybody to think, because Sister Seabreeze Bay said it, or Sheikh Seabreeze Bay, or Minister Seabreeze Bay, or Grand Sheikh Seabreeze Bay said it, that makes it law. No. That does not make it law. So we're going, because this is the 140th Earth Day of Prophet Noble Drew Ali, we're definitely going to, and he's right there behind me, just in case y'all think I always got the prophet behind me, with me, in my heart. So we're going to look at John, the 14th chapter. And we're going to look at it from a very Moorish perspective. Let's see. I know I got it up here. And you know, when I used to sit in class, my teacher used to read this to us and instruct us in it. So it says, let not your heart be troubled. And we know we're talking about the heart of the mind, right? Ye believe in Allah, believe also in me. Now I'm looking at this as, let me not do that yet. In my Father's house are many mansions. And let me read that again. In my Father's house are many nations. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, and where I am, there ye may be also. And whether I go, ye know, and the way ye know. Why do you know that? Because there was a revelation. How do we know Jesus came back to us? We can simply, as Moorish Americans, open our Holy Quran or the Moorish Science Temple, and most of the first 18 chapters, I think maybe excluding chapter 1, we are being instructed by Jesus. or we are receiving the divine instructions from Prophet Noble Drew Ali as taught by Jesus. So if you're looking for Jesus, we have Jesus. We have the 18 missing years of Jesus that's not in the Bible, because the Bible starts at 12 and doesn't pick up again with Jesus till he's 30. So what happened to those 18 missing years? Well, Prophet Noble Drew Ali came with a revelation to teach us or to have us instructed by Jesus, starting at the age of, I think it's 7, if I'm not mistaken, but I can always stand to be corrected. So we interact with Jesus. We walk with Jesus through the country of India, where the mentality and suppression are somewhat the same as what is here in these United States. Negro, black, colored. Except in their case, they had what they call, the black man was at the foot of Paragon, and his only job was to serve, and he couldn't look anybody else in the face. Is that different than the Negro has no rights that a white man is bound to respect? Is that really different? I don't think so. But let's go a little further in John 14. I just want y'all to know we're working with Jesus now. But we work with Jesus in his true self. And I say that because Jesus, historically speaking, had nothing to do with the foundation of Christianity. Well, let me reword that. The death of Jesus has something to do with the foundation of Christianity. But Jesus himself had absolutely nothing to do with that, which is one of the reasons why you stick with the teachings of Paul. Now, I'm saying that not to down Christianity, but to make us understand our perspective of Jesus has to be a little different than what we are currently learning. Because what we're currently learning is keeping the Asiatic race divided. Because we have replaced the great God, who looks like every one of us, to a God who does not, or a Jesus who does not look like us. That should, I'm hoping that this helps you just to think. So, once again, in my Father's house are many nations. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. So no matter where you go, your great God is going to reflect you. And reflecting you, we come to that term, we come to the contract that every man must worship under his own vine and fig tree. It was never intended for us all to think the same thing, be the same way, speak the same language. You should know that from the Tower of Babel. You should have learned that lesson. So, that was John 14. So it says, in my Father's house are many nations. Not mansions, not a place to live, not a house, but a nation. And even if we go back into creation, because the great God is infinite, he can make an Adam and Eve for every nation, which is why we have our nationality. Nationality is a gift from the great God Allah. And if you don't respect him for who he has made you to be, then you're being disrespectful. There's a beauty in each and every one of us when we respect our forefathers. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the earth land which the Lord thy God Allah hath given thee. Now remember, I said, we are following Moses and Aaron to the promised land. Now, let's take this a little further. Just a little further. We're going to go to, let me stop sharing for a minute. And we're going to just sit here. I'm having a little fireside chat. We're having a little chat. And I think we can learn and chat together. So we talk about prophets. Now, and I'm just asking you to exercise some common sense. As Prophet Muhammad, may the peace and blessings be upon him, came and spoke to all of us at one time, how many of us would understand? Then the next question would be, was there a Negro problem during the time of Prophet Muhammad? May the peace and blessings be upon his soul. Now, Jesus said, let me see, I think that's Matthew 5:17. Let's see what Jesus said. Because, see, we have to understand that we're walking in the footsteps of Jesus, and some of us think we're not, but we absolutely are. So I'm going to share something else with you. I think it's Matthew's the 5th chapter. Yeah. Okay. So Matthew's chapter 7, Matthew's the 5th chapter, verse 17 and 18. Let's look. Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. Or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. He said to fulfill the law. For verily, verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law till all be fulfilled. Could, and I'm just making a little suggestion, could he be talking about Leviticus 25:10? Could he be talking about Jubilee? Could he be talking about fulfilling the law of restoring every man back to his family and every man back to his possession? Would that be fulfilling the law? What law is that same law needs to be fulfilled today? If we look at the proclamations of President Lincoln, that says we must have actual freedom, that says we must go through a naturalization, we must go through a nationalization, we must be restored our land, Egypt of the West. Martin Luther King said, I've been to the mountaintop. Now, I don't know if he was at the top of the Allegheny Mountains or at the top of the Rocky Mountains, but he'd been to the mountaintop and he saw the promised land and said he couldn't get there. But if we come together, we could get to the promised land. Now, somebody, somewhere interpreted that to mean integration, the right to vote, but not nationhood. because the mental plantation has some rules. Follow my directions. Imitate me. Anyway, just want you to think about some things. I'm just trying to get you, as a lot of them old say, to think. So let's go a little further. So and we're going to use the Bible again. I'm going to stop sharing here. And I need us to actually take the time to think, because some of us aren't seeing with the eyes of faith. We are seeing, we are believing that things are going to remain the same and things are going to change. That's not how that's going to work. The change has to come from within you, and you have to see through the eyes of faith the change that the great God, Allah, has in store for you. And he did this first by doing this. So, of course, I'm going to share the screen again. Y'all really know that, right? So here we go. And remember the word that we read. Sure, I put this up. Okay, so go back here. We're going to share. Okay, so okay, I think I am back. I'm not sure what happened. Let's see if I'm back for real. Yeah. Mhm. So, biblically, I got disconnected some kind of way. I don't know how. But biblically speaking, Deuteronomy 18:18 says, I will raise them up a prophet from among their brethren, like unto thee. I will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak unto them all that I shall command. And so if an ant gonna have a God, I can guarantee you it won't be a roach. If a mouse gonna have a God, it's not gonna be a cat. If a dog's gonna have a God, it's not gonna be a lion. So why is it that we as a people can't love and respect our own? Now we say he's raised a prophet from amongst us, right? So I'm gonna stop sharing for a minute. But I want you to understand what's going to be on the prophet's shoulders. So in order to do that, I have to share another, because I will have you scripturing and reading for my whole program. Let me just let you know what I do. Because that's how I was taught and that's how I teach. And it says, for unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder. His name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. Now, what is this? So, if we apply that to Prophet Noble Drew Ali, then we would have to then go into Acts 6. And that Acts 6 is going to take us somewhere. It's going to take us back to where we started, actually. It says, but this is a new era of time, and all men now must proclaim their free national name. Not some men, not Moorish American, but all men. All men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. So if we keep looking at more science in this little tiny scope, we're going to miss the big picture. The lessons that we have are for all of humanity. I need you to understand who the prophet's talking to. He's talking to all of humanity. Now, we may not have to have the same exact issues, but the one issue we have in common is proclaiming our free national name. Everybody has one. Until probably when you get here in the United States, people hold on to their heritage, and then some people try to deny it. But we're over here holding on to a color, which is black, and it's still a color. No matter how many illusions you attach to it, you're still on that plantation, serving a modern day purpose of holding yourself back and serving a system that does not benefit you, but benefits everybody else in the world. The whole world is living off of us economically. That's why you got all these little corner stores, all these little stores in our neighborhoods. A food desert. You think the food desert just happened for no reason? Please pay attention. Please pay attention. I gotta keep watching. I gotta watch the time because I'll keep going. But on this 140th birthday of Noble Drew Ali, let us, Moorish Americans, get on the same page. Whose page is it? Prophet Noble Drew Ali's page. It's not your page, it's not mine. It's Prophet Noble Drew Ali. The page is titled Divine and National, has 5 disciplines: divine, national, constitutional, historical, and moral. Because we got to build up our character. We've got to understand our history, at least how history should impact us and why we're part and parcel of the said government, why we should not be calling ourselves Negro, Black, and Colored. We definitely need the divine, which includes our birthright religion of Islamism, so that we can correct our character and find our humility and humble ourselves. Like my wrap is a sacred wrap. Under my sacred wrap, I can't wear any and everything under my sacred wrap because it is sacred. It is a sacred gift from the great God Allah through our prophet. So I have to respect it. We're not supposed to be wearing and doing anything under the fence. It is sacred. It is a gift from the great God Allah through our prophet. And when we wear this, the turban or the fez, we're saying, I know who I am. I know what my morals are. I know my history. I know my destiny. I know I'm on my way home to my land, Egypt of the West, between the Rockies and the Allegheny Mountains. I got some place to go. I got some things to do. I need Negro, Black, and Colored off the record because it doesn't belong there, because it is a slave labor. And I don't care how many different ways you try to color it. Somebody said we melanated, but everything has melanin in it. What makes you different than the flower, than the beast, than the bird, and the worm? What makes you different? There's something that makes you different. Melanin does not make you. But anyway, okay, I'm watching the time. And I just want to give honor to Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And I recognize him in the first, second, and third form. But this time we're recognizing the founder born January the 8th, 1886. The motivator, the originator, the starter who came in 1913, our first year of Jubilee, and said, come all you Asiatics and hear the truth about your nationality and birthrights. From 1913 to 1928, he was building the ark. And what I mean by building the ark, I mean establishing lessons, establishing laws, establishing purpose. Because, one of the things, we like to talk about love, but can there be love without obedience to the great God Allah? Can there be love without obedience to his laws? Can there be love? I know Supreme Grand Sheikh Pray for Ill was singing what the world needs now is love, sweet love. And yes, it does. But some of us truly need to understand what love is. Love is obedience. Love is humility. As a matter of fact, why not do this? Hold on with me for a second. Let me see if I can do this. Hold on, don't leave me. Let's try this again. So, you know what? I'm just use my phone. Gotta use all your tools. So I need you to listen to this first, and then when you listen to it, you'll understand. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know, but I'm going to read it anyway. Trying to close this up here. Or maybe I'm not sure. All right. So it says, love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with truth. Let me read that one part again. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, and always perseveres. That's love. But love, you can't have, according to what we just read, you can't have love without truth. It says, when the will of man and the will of Allah are one, the resurrection is a fact. So when do we start to learn to love ourselves? When will we become a priority to ourselves? Yes, we need actual freedom, and I will sing actual freedom from the rooftops. I'll go up on the Empire State Building and sing actual freedom, because that is what we need. Our actual freedom sets the world back into its proper perspective. As long as we are out of order and out of context, the world stays in chaos. And it allows people to run around and steal stuff that does not belong to them because we won't claim what is actually ours. Not by wish, but by divine law and constitutional law. Also historically. So I'm looking to you, I'm praying for you and with you that we, in 2026, get on the same page with Prophet Noble Drew Ali. The same page. And you know, time has went. So I'm going to see if I can find, I got a poem for you, right? I'm going to see if I can find it. Y'all know you had to bear with me. I had my little moments. So, let me see if I can find it. See how quickly I can do this. That's not it. Let's see. I think I got a keyword that may help me. Here we go. And I had opportunity to read this. I found this thing. So I'm going to share it with you. Hopefully I can get it done before our time is out. And it says, as I walk through the darkness of Negro, black, colored, or Ethiopian, African, Kemetic, melanated, and so forth, I did not look back. I looked straight ahead. I saw a light inside my head. As I approached the light, I saw a man. He shouted loud so I could hear, slavery is over. Slavery is over. And why do you cling to these names of bondage and the principles of slavery? Slavery blinds the mind and hinders our sight. with no true destiny in sight. Imitation is not freedom, nor is civil rights or civil wrongs, I should say. Why have we submitted to mental slavery and only lived as we are told? Imitation is not bold, it is simply mind control. That man in the light said, stand and kneel no more. Your forefathers were Moorish masterminds, uplifting every discipline, science, medicine, mathematics, authors of the Renaissance. Originated the graceful forms of which the Taj Mahal and Alhambra, which still stands today in perfect form, I would say. Famous proof we did not stop there at Baghdad and Cairo, the most renowned universities of the world. We did not stop there. We came across Atlantis via water highways. We dredged the Nile, the Niger, and Mississippi to one great water highway, which can never be repeated. Over 10,000 years of history and destiny, we set the European free. The Union, 35 Moors and 20 Anglo-Saxons, established according to Hebrew law. Yet we never hear. They claim it's from osmosis, monarchy to democracy. But let us be clear. It was when ecclesiastical despotism, what does that be? You no longer need to read or write, just praise me. Jesus transformed to pay. No longer intellectual, it must be suppressed. You must see everything through Eurocentric specs. He became God in your inventions and creativity he stole. Now the talent that is created is repressed and is on repeat mode. Everybody, somebody, as long as you imitate me, the great deception of equality. Forget the great fight. Forget the great fight, actual freedom. Forget what you are due, your money, your land, your identity. How wonderful our great God is to establish Jubilee. Oh, I never told you who the man in the light is. It was Prophet Noble Riley. He shouted from a crate, reclaim your destiny, your identity, your birthrights, your identity Moorish American, race Asiatic. Reclaim, restore, redeem, and be recognized for who you are in the world's great destiny. Every man must worship under his own vine and fig tree, under love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and the world can be free. So that's our, excuse me, that's my poem for this week. I'll have another one next week. But know that it's time to get on one page. I am the voice of oneness. I am the mother pleading to a nation. I am a mother pleading to the Moorish men of this nation. Get on one page. We have a destiny to fulfill. Can you hear this mother cry? Can you hear our children crying? It is a new era of time. It's been a new era of time since August 1st, 1928 at 2:52 p.m. When will we? How will we? Why will we celebrate and recognize this new era of time established and created through the great God by Prophet Noble Riley? So, of course, I thank you and appreciate you for allowing me to bring to you the Moorish Lights, where the podcast is a revolution. And as always, and since we celebrated the Prophet's Earth Day on Sunday, I have to rephrase my closing statement, which is, we embraced the Prophet. We embraced Allah. We embraced divine and national. We embraced one another, and we embraced the mission. And I ask that you do likewise and love and understanding, I thank you and appreciate you for allowing me to bring to you the Moorish Lights, where the revolution is a podcast. Peace and love.